Okay, what you're looking at right now is s&box, more specifically the browse screen within s&box. Dozens of different games and projects for you to try, all of which were created in s&box. I feel a little disrespectful putting Garry's Mod 2 in my title because by Facepunch's own admission, s&box is not going to be Garry's Mod 2. It will eclipse what is possible in Garry's Mod rather than simply be a modern version of it. But I gotta play the YouTube game just a little bit. I guess I never thought that much about a successor to Gmod, but now that I am thinking about it, I mean, come on, just imagine the possibilities. We are taking Source 2 and using our own knowledge of Source 1, Garry's Mod, Unity, and Unreal Engine. We're trying to create an intuitive, modern-feeling game development environment where everything is moddable. Like Rust and Garry's Mod, we see this as a long-term thing. We intend to eventually make our own games using it. It is something for us to work on and improve every day for the next couple of decades. Those two paragraphs alone inspire a ton of confidence in me as a player, and you bet there's plenty of potential in s&box for aspiring game developers too. But before we talk about the development stuff, let's dive into what you can play and experience in s&box right now. Remembering that everything you're seeing was made in s&box. Okay. You want to play Cookie Clicker? In s&box? I don't know what you're talking about. It's called Pizza Clicker. Five Nights at Freddy's? Yeah, s&box has that. You can play pool, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work. Frogger? Yep. Do you like RuneScape? Well, here's Terryscape. What about a 3D Jump King where I can't get past the first fucking jump? Someone even made Stickman Dead Cells. Tetris? Of course. Doom? You got it. This drifting game that I'm terrible at? Absolutely. I don't even know what the fuck this was, but I'm never playing it again. Do you hate the sausage player model? Well, Facepunch will be removing it, but not before it could get a proper funeral. Rest in peace. And of course, the bones of the classic s&box mode are here too, on GM Construct no less. Now look, at the moment there's a lot of gimmicky stuff in s&box, but it's all to show what's possible within the engine. The fact that you can create fundamentally similar games to other iconic ones currently on the market is a pretty crazy start. It gets even crazier when you think about how all of these games will most likely be available for free. Some of the most exciting concepts to me are the FPS games. Facepunch made one called Nicked, and while it's far from polished, I can imagine s&box having multiple popular FPS games with thriving communities, kind of like what you see in Roblox. There's a few other testing grounds for FPS mechanics as well. The gunplay obviously isn't anything special, but this is again just meant to show what's possible. I also tried a game called Rogue Arena, and of course my roguelike addicted brain gets excited thinking about all the roguelikes that can be made within s&box as soon as I see this. Unfortunately, when I chose the Archer class and tried to shoot my arrows, they'd instead do damage to me, but that's totally okay. I had to run the Knight, but that's fine. I'm not expecting perfection in any of these experiences just yet. That said, it had most of the basic roguelike tropes, and they were implemented pretty seamlessly, so you can only dream about the possible depth in a roguelike that's taken years to develop in s&box. I mean, a roguelike built on Source 2/s&box has to have all sorts of crazy positives. I mean, just imagine the modding potential. As I mentioned, as an experienced or aspiring game developer, s&box will let you create games or experiences that just weren't possible in Garry's Mod. It is an engine after all. Admittedly, I don't know much about game creation, but I do understand that using an engine is a skill, and that takes time to learn. s&box will undoubtedly be the starting point for many beginner game developers, but the ability to monetize and export the games you create will most likely attract more experienced developers to s&box as well, which is kind of crazy. In a July update from Garry Newman, which I will link below, this specific part stood out to me. The highlight of this part being, we want to let you use the s&box engine to create games, export them, give them away for free, or put them on Steam. Garry then goes on to talk about how people using their engine is enough of a benefit to them, and that even if you export your game and start selling it on Steam, you shouldn't expect Facepunch to come knocking your door down expecting royalties. Obviously, not every rule is set in stone yet, and Valve has yet to officially say yes, but just thinking about the potential of this is certainly exciting. In the July update that I linked, there's a bunch of development-related stuff. They're essentially showing off what you can do in s&box, and it all looks excellent to me. As I was writing this section, I felt like I had to tippy-toe my way around the wording because, again, I don't know much about game development, but from what I've seen, read, and what I know about Garry, I think the intent behind s&box is pure and good. It probably also makes Garry happy that s&box will introduce a whole bunch of younger people to game development and might even kickstart their careers, and it's hard to see that as anything but positive. If you want to try s&box right now, you can. Just head to their website. When you log in with Steam, you should see a prompt up the top to get the code. Then you'll see this page. Just click the gimme that, and yeah, easy. But yeah, just wanted to make a quick video on S&box because, I mean, look, Garry's Mod 2, spiritual successor to Garry's Mod 2, call it whatever you want. This is incredibly exciting. And yeah, just hope it goes well for them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Subscribe. Follow my Twitch, link in the description, and I'll see you guys later.